August in Los Angeles. The heat radiating off the practice turf out in Thousand Oaks is absolutely brutal. But honestly, it is nothing compared to the intense pressure cooker environment currently enveloping the Rams' 2026 training camp. You have to understand, the 2026 season is not just another year on the calendar for this franchise. We are looking at arguably the most pivotal campaign of the entire Sean McVay era. Matthew Stafford's championship window is undeniably narrowing as the miles add up on his arm. The NFC West arms race is escalating to frankly terrifying levels. In the front office, they have clearly aggressively signaled that they're pushing every single remaining chip they have straight into the center of the table. So we aren't just looking at your standard run-of-the-mill preseason storylines here. We are witnessing a high-stakes two-front drama unfolding in real time right in front of our eyes. On one side, you have a granular, highly tactical emergency in the trenches that threatens to completely derail McVay's meticulously crafted offensive scheme before week one even kicks off. And on the other side, a franchise-altering, league-shaking rumble concerning the most dominant defensive force of his generation. The stakes literally couldn't be higher for this organization. Every single rep on that practice field matters, and every single whisper leaking out of the front office is being heavily analyzed. Just sit with this statement for a second. If there's an arrow, it's trending upward. I want you to really absorb that. This isn't coming from some anonymous team insider on a late-night message board. This isn't a rumor from a rival scout. This is head coach Sean McVay, standing at a podium, speaking on the record, directly addressing the absolute elephant in the room, the potential unretirement of Aaron Donald. Now, if you follow this team, you know McVay is notoriously calculated with the media. He understands the profound weight of his words. He absolutely does not throw out idle hope just to generate some clicks or appease a restless fan base. For him to publicly state that a comeback from the three-time Defensive Player of the Year is actually trending upward sends an immediate, violent shockwave through the rest of the National Football League. It entirely rewrites the context of this Rams season. It changes how offensive coordinators across the country are sleeping at night. But here's the reality check. Before a Titan can return to conquer a mountain, the Rams have to make sure the foundation of their current roster isn't quietly crumbling beneath them.
Section 1. The Rams' Critical Juncture, a trench-level emergency.
Look, while the national media is understandably fixated on those Aaron Donald whispers, the coaching staff inside that building is losing sleep over a very real, very immediate micro-crisis on the offensive side of the ball. The issue starts right here. Tight end Davis Allen is currently listed as week-to-week with a soft tissue injury in his quad. Now, casual fans scrolling Twitter might completely blow past an update about a tight end's quad in mid-August, but if you know anything about the trenches of the NFL, you know that soft tissue injuries are a living nightmare. They are the ultimate wild card. They linger historically, they rob a player of that crucial split-second explosiveness right out of a three-point stance, and they severely limit the sheer driving power required for inline blocking against those 260-pound freak athlete defensive ends. When an organization views an injury like this on a week-to-week basis in August, it essentially tells us his training camp is over, done. The entire organizational focus has abruptly, desperately shifted to one singular goal: somehow, someway, get Davis Allen on the field for week one. Because right now, the clock is ticking, and it is ticking loudly. 4. That is the number of consecutive practices Allen has already missed due to this quad issue. In the rhythm of the NFL, 4 missed practices in the dead heat of August installation is an absolute eternity. It's not just about his physical conditioning falling behind, though that is a massive concern. It's about timing. It's about building that critical, unspoken synergy with Matthew Stafford. It's about perfecting the highly complex run-blocking choreography that the Rams' entire offensive line absolutely relies on to function. Every single day, Allen is inside the facility in the training room, hooked up to stim machines and receiving treatment, instead of out on the grass taking live reps against the defense. The anxiety in the offensive coach's room spikes just a little bit more. To truly grasp the profound significance of this specific injury, you have to understand the tactical evolution of this team. Sean McVay's offensive architecture has drastically transformed over the years. Think back to 2018. The Rams were a buzzsaw, and they basically lived in 11 personnel, meaning 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers on the field at all times. They spread you out and diced you up. But the league caught up. To counter the modern two-high safety defensive shells that have completely taken over the NFL, McVay had to pivot. He had to reinvent his philosophy. So he now heavily relies on 12 personnel. That's 1 running back and 2 tight ends, and even 13 personnel, 1 running back and 3 tight ends. Why? Because it puts the modern defense in an impossible bind. It's a brilliant chess move. If a defense sees 3 tight ends jog onto the field, they have to respond with heavy, slow, run-stopping linebackers, or they'll get bullied. But if those tight ends are athletic enough to run precise routes, McVay instantly shifts to a passing attack, ruthlessly exploiting those bulky linebackers in open space. It's a total mismatch. Conversely, if the defense stays light with extra defensive backs to stop the pass, the Rams just run the ball right down their throats with heavy blockers. But here's the catch. This entire illusion, this entire tactical advantage, completely evaporates if you don't have multiple capable, versatile tight ends available to actually execute the scheme. Without Allen, a massive, vital chunk of McVay's modern playbook is effectively paralyzed.
Section 2. Solving the tight end problem. The next man up.
You always hear coaches talk about the next man up mentality. It sounds great on a t-shirt, it sounds great in a press conference, but executing it in a system this complex requires taking a hard, honest look at exactly what you have in the building right now. And man, there is a sheer, jarring contrast in the profiles of the players currently fighting to fill this massive void. First, you have Dan Villari. He's an undrafted free agent who actually converted from quarterback. His strength? A Taysom Hill-esque versatility. He's a total wild card who can throw, run, and catch. Then you have Mark Redmond. He's your classic, traditional Y tight end. He spent a year grinding on the practice squad, and his game is entirely rooted in gritty, physical, put-your-hand-in-the-dirt run blocking. Finally, there's Rohan Jones. He's a developing prospect whose primary upside is as an athletic receiving threat down the seam, though he severely needs to develop his fundamental blocking technique if he wants to survive in the NFL. These are three completely different skill sets. The coaching staff can't just plug one of these guys in and run the exact same plays they drew up for Davis Allen. They have to drastically, painstakingly tailor the scheme to whichever player manages to step up under the lights. But let me tell you, keep a very, very close eye on Villari. The front office isn't just taking a blind flyer on a converted quarterback for the sake of a cool underdog story. That's not how this league works. Dan Villari received one of the Rams' largest undrafted free agent financial guarantees this entire offseason. In the NFL, you always follow the money. That guarantee tells us unequivocally that the Rams scouting department sees massive, untapped upside in his unique athletic profile. They want this kid to succeed. They invested in him. If he can process the immense complexity of McVay's playbook, his Taysom Hill-style versatility could actually add a fascinating, highly unpredictable new wrinkle to the offense while Allen is recovering. Think about the nightmare this creates for a defense. You run a wildcat or hybrid passing threat operating out of a heavy, bulky tight end package. It completely breaks traditional defensive gap rules. Linebackers freeze because they don't know who has the ball. Defensive coordinators have to rewrite their entire game plans on the fly. Villari is the very definition of high upside in this scenario. Section 3. Intriguing free agent targets. Looking outside the building. But what if the internal options just aren't ready for the bright lights and the brutal reality of Week 1? The current free agent pool for tight ends in late August is notoriously thin. It's a wasteland. Most of the reliable, plug-and-play talent is already locked up in a camp somewhere else. But the Rams front office has to do their due diligence, which leaves them staring down two very distinct external paths. On one hand, you have Donald Parham. He's working out for teams right now, planning an NFL comeback. Back in 2023 with the Chargers, he was an absolute force, posting the fourth highest Pro Football Focus pass blocking grade among all tight ends. He is massive, a huge target. But he comes with a frankly terrifying medical profile, having missed the entire 2025 season with a torn Achilles sustained in OTAs with Pittsburgh. For a guy that size, an Achilles injury is devastating. He's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward gamble. On the other hand, you have Will Dissly. Dissly is the safe play. He's a proven, nasty, old-school inline blocker who spent the first part of his career battling in Seattle, so he has deep system familiarity with the NFC West and even played alongside current Rams tight end Colby Parkinson. Now, Dissly is not going to give you dynamic athleticism in the passing game. He's not outrunning safeties, but in a 13-personnel heavy scheme where you just need a guy to move a defensive end 2 yards off the line of scrimmage against his will, Dissly is the reliable stopgap. It's a classic, agonizing front office choice. Do you gamble on ceiling and upside, or do you settle for high-floor systemic stability? Section 4. Aaron Donald's media pivot. A giant stirs. Now, let's zoom out, because while the tight end room is fighting for its absolute survival on the practice field, a giant is stirring in the background, casting a massive shadow over everything. For a guy who notoriously shunned the spotlight and kept his offseason life intensely, almost obsessively private during his playing days, Aaron Donald's recent moves are incredibly loud. He recently signed with Envisionary Talent Management, which is a major heavy-hitting agency, and his stated goals are explicit. He wants to grow his business and brand partnerships. He wants to aggressively expand his media and entertainment portfolio. Crucially, he's developing an exclusive behind-the-scenes docuseries. Furthermore, he's actively exploring potential TV analyst roles. Listen to me. These are not the moves of a man who is content, quietly playing golf, and fading into retirement. This is a deliberate, highly orchestrated strategy to build a massive public profile. He is actively preparing for life on camera, and he is seizing absolute control of his own narrative. To validate exactly how serious this media push really is,
Consider the firm Donald just partnered with. Envisionary isn't messing around. They recently brokered a massive deal that landed former Chicago Bears offensive lineman Kyle Long a coveted analyst position on the NFL Today at CBS. This proves the agency has the exact industry connections, the real leverage, to get Donald into a premium national broadcast booth tomorrow if he wants it. Many people around the league view this as Donald securing a gold-plated, bulletproof backup plan. Historically, we only see franchise quarterbacks command this level of media leverage. Think Tom Brady signing his massive Fox deal before he even threw his last pass, or Drew Brees or Tony Romo. Defensive tackles do not typically get this red carpet treatment, but Aaron Donald transcends the position. He is a one-of-one. If a return to the grueling physical grind of the NFL doesn't materialize, he has brilliantly positioned himself to dominate the media landscape immediately.
Section 5. The comeback rumors escalate. A Super Bowl or bust atmosphere.
To really grasp what's happening, you have to understand the environment in Los Angeles right now. This is a Super Bowl or bust atmosphere. There is no tomorrow for this core. The front office is acting with extreme, calculated aggression, and Donald's sudden reemergence in the public eye is colliding perfectly, almost too perfectly, with the team's roster-building timeline. When you map this out chronologically, the undeniable momentum becomes incredibly clear. Let's look at the board. At the end of the 2023 season, Donald officially retires. A legend steps away, presumably for good. Fast forward to June of this year, 2026. Out of nowhere, the Rams pull off a blockbuster, landscape-altering trade for superstar edge rusher Myles Garrett. The league is stunned. Then, just weeks later in August, Donald signs this massive media management deal, thrusting himself directly back into the national conversation. And almost simultaneously, Sean McVay drops the trending upward bombshell to the press. Guys, these are not isolated events. They are falling dominoes, leading to a singular, inevitable point.
We simply cannot overstate the gravity of that June 2026 acquisition. Trading for Myles Garrett wasn't just a roster upgrade. It wasn't just getting a good player. It was the ultimate catalyst that sparked Donald's initial comeback teases. Think about the sheer paralyzing terror this defensive front would strike into the hearts of NFL offensive coordinators. Imagine being a center. You step up to the line, you look to the edge, and you have a prime Myles Garrett in a wide 9 stance. You look inside, and you have a rested, highly motivated Aaron Donald in a 3 technique. It breaks offensive football on a fundamental level. If an offensive line decides to slide their protection inside to double-team Donald with a guard and a center, it leaves their offensive tackle on an absolute island, one-on-one with Myles Garrett. That is a guaranteed death sentence for your quarterback. If the offense tries to chip Garrett with a tight end to help the tackle survive, Donald suddenly gets a one-on-one on the interior, which he will win every single time, usually in under 2 seconds. It is arguably the most devastating hypothetical defensive front in the history of this sport. The Rams front office pushed all their chips to the center of the table with the Garrett trade, sending a very clear, very loud message directly to Aaron Donald. We are going all in for a ring right now. Are you coming with us?
Section 6. What happens next? The waiting game in LA.
So, here we are. The Rams are meticulously, desperately trying to patch the tactical holes in their heavy offensive packages without Davis Allen. They are completely rewiring Sean McVay's running game in real time on the practice field, all while looking over their shoulder at the looming, massive shadow of number 99. The tension in that facility is absolutely palpable. The entire NFL is on standby, waiting for the other shoe to drop. So as Week 1 rapidly approaches, you have to ask yourself, is that high-end docuseries Donald is developing within Visionary right now just going to be a quiet, nostalgic reflection on a legendary career that officially ended back in 2023? Or is it being filmed right this very second as the ultimate, behind-the-scenes chronicle of the most spectacular, league-breaking comeback in NFL history? Only time will tell, but the stage is perfectly set for a truly historic season in Los Angeles. This has been an explainer of the dramatic events unfolding at Williams Camp. To make sure you don't miss the next domino to fall in this story, remember, your channel is NFL Nexus. Make sure to subscribe, like this explainer, comment your opinion down below. I really want to know, do you guys think Donald actually returns to play with Garrett? And support the channel by becoming a member. We'll see you in the next one.